नमस्कार। आप सब भाई बहनों से डॉक्टर योगेश पटेल ट्राई कलर हॉस्पिटल से आपको ट्राई कोरोना वायरस से जो महामारी विश्व भर में चल रही है, वो महामारी से डर से भय से जिन लोगों को क्वारंटाइन किया गया है, इनकी मनोदशा की तकलीफ दूर करने में और घर में जो रहना पड़ता है, वो वेदना से कैसे मुक्ति पाने के कुछ सुझाव और कुछ आपको आपको कुछ प्रश्न है जो आपको इसके सवाल नहीं उपलब्ध हो रहे, ऐसे सवाल के जवाब देने के लिए हम ट्राइकलर बड़ौदा हॉस्पिटल से डॉक्टर योगेश पटेल मनोचिकित्सक आपसे आपके प्रश्नों के जवाब देने के लिए यहाँ हम उपस्थित हुए हैं। तो हमें आप सबसे निवेदन है कि आप अपने प्रश्न हमें ये फेसबुक पे भेजा करें। Anand, but where on can I listen? Not getting live streaming. मैडम, we'll look into this. Can you listen? मैडम, आप हमें सुन सकते हो? मैडम, can you listen us? Yes. Thank you, Akhil Dave, for congratulating us. Thank you very much. आनंद, बट आपको हमारी आवाज आ रही है? मैडम आनंद, बट आपको हमारी आवाज आ रही है? हाउ डू यू नो दैट आई हैव डिप्रेशन और एंजाइटी? अच्छा, आपको डिप्रेशन कैसे मालूम हो सकता है, ये आपका प्रश्न है। और आपको चिंता से पीड़ित हो कैसे मालूम हो सकते हो? तो पहले हम हताशा और डिप्रेशन के बारे में बात करें तो आप में घर के किसी सदस्य से बात करने का मन नहीं करेगा, आपको रात में नींद नहीं आएगी, आपकी भूख कम हो जाएगी, आप क्या ज़्यादा खाने लगोगे, आपके जो वेजिटेटिव सिम्टम्स है वो बढ़ जाएंगे या एकदम कम हो जाएंगे, और दिन भर आप एक ही बात को लेकर विचारों के नकारात्मक सोच में के अतिक्रमण आपके दिमाग पे होगा, और आप कोरोना से इतने ऑब्सेस्ड हो जाओगे कि आप क्यों कोई अपना नित्यक्रम करने भी आपको आलस आ जाएगी, लेजीनेस आ जाएगा, आपको ऐसा लगेगा आपको बाहर जाना नहीं है तो मैं बात क्यों लूं, देर से उठना, बिल्कुल लाइफस्टाइल इम्बैलेंस हो जाएगी, आप वक्त के खाना नहीं खाओगे, वक्त पे स्नान नहीं करो, दो दो तीन तीन दिन तक शेव नहीं करोगे, तो ये सब जो रेगुलर आपकी जो लाइफ है इसमें असंतुलन आ जाएगा। तो इसका मतलब ये है कि आप डिप्रेशन की ओर गरकाव हो रहे हैं। दूसरा क्वेश्चन था कि व्हाट आर द नेचुरल वे टू क्योर द एंजाइटी। ये बहुत अच्छा सवाल प्रतीक भट्ट जी आपने पूछा है। नेचुरल वे टू क्योर एंजाइटी ये है कि जब भी आपको फुर्सत मिले, जब भी आपको टाइम मिले, तो देखो मेरी ओर, लंबे लंबे श्वास लेना है, या नहीं तो फिर आपको ये करना है, एक सुई और धागा लेना है, और जो बरसों पहले हमारी आदत जो चली गई थी, तो 15 मिनट में आप कितनी सुई में धागा डाल सकते हो ये कोशिश कर सकते हो। या फिर आपको जो विचारों का अतिक्रमण हो रहा है उसके बारे में लिखते ही जाओ, लिखते ही जाओ, लिखते ही जाओ। तो ये एंजाइटी से दूर रहने की एक ये है। और दूसरा ये है, व्हाट इज इम्पोर्टेंट इज आज के ज़माने में पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी। तो आप वन डे एट अ टाइम लेके चलो, आप दूसरे दिन की चिंता मत करो, आज आपके पास शेल्टर है, आज के दिन का खाना है, घर के सभी सदस्य सलामत है, किसी सदस्य को कोरोना वायरस का अतिक्रमण नहीं हुआ है, तो आपको फिर डरने की कोई बात नहीं है। चिंता कब होती है, कब अजागरूक भय आपके दिमाग पर सवार हो जाता है, when something uncertainty is constantly bombarding your mind. So think positive, so you'll have positive feelings, and displace your negative thoughts with some positive memories. Like you can pick up an old marriage album, or when you first, if you're married, when your first kid was born, or if you are having a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you watch beautiful pictures, or if you have been to a tour or some picnic or any beautiful place, you must have photographs of those sceneries. So look at, or just open your window and take a lot of fresh air. Drink plenty of fluids, plenty of water, and this is the natural way to overcome anxiety. My advice to everybody on this live show is don't resort to tranquilizers. I won't name the medicines of those tranquilizers, but don't resort to allopathic or any type of tranquilizer or medications to reduce your anxiety. The simple way you can do is if you have your children's tennis balls or plastic balls, just keep on squashing them. And that's the way. And the most important thing is start talking to a friend if he's available on telephone or on mobile, or start talking to your wife or your parents or your children, or start playing so distract your mind from the negative thoughts and get yourself enjoy into some pleasant activities. This is the ideal way how you can get rid of your anxiety. How people might be feeling about the lockdown stage. Now, the number one question that is bombarding people's mind today is how long this lockdown is going to continue. Now, nobody can is certain what is going to happen because this is the first time this thing has bombarded the world. We are all certain. So that's why I say live one day at a time. Don't worry for the future. जैसे हमारे गीता में जाते हैं, जो हुआ जो हुआ वो भी अच्छा है, जो हो रहा है वो भी अच्छा है, और जो होने वाला है वो भी अच्छा है। तो आप के लॉकडाउन के बारे में बाद में आर्थिक परिस्थिति क्या होगी, दुनिया क्या क्या होगा, हम जब बाहर जाएंगे तो हमारे बच्चों के भविष्य का क्या होगा, एजुकेशन को लेके क्या होगा, हमारे प्रोफेशन को लेके क्या होगा, हमारे बिजनेस को लेके क्या होगा, ये सब अभी सोचने का वक्त नहीं है। आप शांत रहिए और जस्ट पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग, एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू बी ओके एंड फाइन, दिस टू शैल पास अवे। जब भी आपको लॉकडाउन के बारे में, और दूसरी एक अच्छी बात मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि लॉकडाउन के बारे में किसी से चर्चा क्यों करते। पहली बात तो ये है कि जब भी टीवी पर, सोशल मीडिया पर लोगों से मिलने को तो हमने लक्ष्मण रेखा बनाई दी है ना, आप किसी को फेस टू फेस बात करेंगे, पर परिवार में भी बाल बच्चों के साथ, बीवी के साथ लॉकडाउन होने वाला है, अभी कम खाओ, पैसा कम खर्च करो, ये सब जो हुआ नहीं उसकी बात क्यों करना है। जैसे मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ, उसको भी नेगेटिव नहीं लेना है। जैसे मौत तो हम सबको आनी है, ये तो एक विश्व भर में एक्सेप्टेड ट्रूथ है, बट डू वी ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट व्हाट विल हैपन इफ आई डाई, what will happen to my children after I die, what will happen to my wife after I die, though I certainly know that I'm going to die, but do we bombard ourselves with this? So this is an ordinary, within few days or months or years, probably the world will find a solution to it. So this is just a temporary stress that has come untimely without a warning. So we are little taken aback. But now we are 10 days, 12 days, and we are slowly, gradually started accepting. And once you accept the situation, 50% of your stress goes down. That this is life is going to be for another 14, 15 days. If I am right, it is going to be for 14 days from today. So this is get up early in the morning, do some exercise, do some yoga, have your healthy breakfast. See, this is very important. Having healthy food, right quantity of food, easily digestible food, so that you don't put on weight. My advice again for the patients, if you have parents in your home, and if they are suffering from hypertension, diabetes, and all, see that they do their exercise in the family, in the home. See that they don't overeat. See your children, they don't overeat. Because I'm afraid once the lockdown is over, I don't want to see citizens, children, and you yourself having put on 4 or 5 kilogram of weight. Any other questions, sir? What is generalized anxiety disorder? The generalized anxiety disorder is an unformulative, uneasy state of mind. GAD, what is it called in ICD 10? It is generalized anxiety disorder is the unformulative, uneasy state of mind. So there is no reason to feel anxious, but just one due to some early traumas, according to Freudian theory, in the childhood or in the early adolescence, people feel insecure, people get worried for unnecessarily things, though there is no actual cause of concern. So it involves your brain, your mind, and your body. You may have palpitations, you have irritable bowel syndrome, you may have aches and pains, you may have headaches, you may have phobias, you may have obsessive compulsive disorder, you may be meticulous, you may have a personality which becomes worried unnecessarily if you have to go for 6 o'clock for a tuition class or for a business meeting, for a picnic, you'll be ready by 5 o'clock. I know of a gentleman who called me when Honorable Prime Minister was giving his speech about lockdown, and in the middle he picks up his phone and tells me that, Doctor, do you know any chemist who will see that my 2 months medicine supply is made available? These are the people who are suffering from what is known as a generalized anxiety disorder. I hope I've done justice to the question. Any next question, please? Yeah, see, it's very important, Mr. Rahul, that this is the best time. Now, what I would suggest here is this is the time you get to be alone with yourself. I'm not talking lonely. You may be surrounded by 1,000 people, but may feel lonely. Now, here I'm talking is you got a time to be alone with yourself. You can take up a journal, and not all great people write biographies or autobiographies. This is a time to have a reflection on your own life and know who you are and what I want to become. See, many of us lived life as we were directed by our teachers, school teachers, or influenced by our parents, elder siblings, and the society's norms and rules. In the process, we lost our original self, our where our original passion was. So this is a God gift. Like say, this is what we call an adversity to be converted into an opportunity. You can daily decide a place, get yourself locked in a bedroom, say that please do not disturb me, and sit and meditate and reflect on your mind and reflect on your backward journey of the life and see what has been wrong, where you're at, and then you can write how to remake it. So this is the best way to use this time. Next one. How does the stress affect our health in short term and long term? Well, this is very important thing. See, whether to take a stress or not to take a stress is your choice. What is called is a choice therapy. Like, see, what is stress for somebody is a challenge for somebody. So, what I would suggest is the stress, what it does is it triggers our neurobiological system, and when we are under tremendous amount of stress, There is a lot of rush of neurotransmitters, biochemicals, hormones which are not needed to do day to day activities. And when they cross a certain amount, they start exhausting our stamina, our energy, and start damaging vital organs like our heart, our kidney, our brain. So, this is how stress would affect our mind and body. And it can cause psychosomatic illnesses like hyperacidity, irritable bowel system, bowel syndrome, migraine. It can cause hypertension, it can cause cardiovascular illness, it can cause angina, and then repeatedly you will be visiting doctors. It can cause a lot of backache and so on. So that's why we have a happiness clinic. That's why we want to deal with people having blood pressure, diabetes, and various sorts of illnesses which are affected by stress which has been caused by the lockdown. First thing, Mr. Rahul, again, I would like to talk with mobile addiction. Now, this lockdown is the period where I am afraid and I am apprehensive that most of the people would suggest you to remain in contact with your friends, with your relatives, and most of the people suggest that play games on the mobile. Now, the theory of psychology says that if you continue to do one activity regularly at the same time for so many hours, you get used to it and it becomes an automatic activity. And this is the time I would suggest all the educational institutions, the parents, to minimize the use of screen time. 1 hour, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening should be the rule of the family, rule of the home, to engage into screen time with whomsoever you want to talk. I don't want to take away freedom or privacy of any individual, but this is the first time in the life you have got an opportunity to communicate with your parents, with your children, with your siblings face to face. So why you want to use and mobile to communicate with your friends and children? And in the process, like see any activity which becomes salience is called an addictive behavior. See, when you become an addict to mobile, you start doing non-urgent, non-important things urgently. See, things which are not important, which are not urgent, you start doing urgently. So if you're talking to your father, if you're eating your food, what is important? Enjoy the food. Enjoy your conversation with you. And if somebody has called, if he's in a desperate need to call you, he'll call you again. Why you want to pick up the phone? So that is what I mean, doing non-urgent, non-important things urgently. How many of us do that? That is exactly what I would say, that is mobile addiction. Every 5 minutes you want to see, every 5 minutes you want to see what's happening, what are the good news coming on the mobile, what are the bad, you want to check it. You put something on your WhatsApp message and you want to see it. Yeah, you see it once, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, and you have ample time to reply. And it's not necessary that you should reply all of them. Now, this is not the time to sit and check all your emails. This is the time to spend with your own self, to do prayers to the Almighty God for your family, for the society, for the country, for the entire world. So, engage in all positive activities which are useful to you and to the society, and not a self defeating behavior. Next, please. I would like to talk to reply to one Madam Girja Soni. So, does stress and anxiety changes the eating behavior? Yes, definitely it changes the defeating. eating behavior, because people under stress tend to eat a lot, and that is exactly what I was talking about my diabetic patients, hypertensive patients, teenagers. Like, they would go into binge eating. They would not eat in the afternoon, and then evening they would do binge eating, watching television, doing some other activity. They would keep on eating and they would not know. So that is what I say. Live mindfully during this quarantine period, during this lockdown period. So see what are the number of calories you are putting in. See what stress and anxiety, how stress affects your body. So this is time to reflect on your own self. See what is stress doing on your body. When there is stress, which part of your body pains? How many times you go to the loo? How many times you go to the washroom? How many times you feel dryness of mouth? And you can keep a diary, a daily chart. And what are the thoughts that come to you? What are you thinking? And how your body responds to your thought processes. Because mind controls the body, what is known as psychosomatic. So make a diary. This is a very good question and a very good time and adversity converted into an opportunity. You find out what is happening, how your body is responding to stress and anxiety. Keep a chart, and then once you have done a chart for 7 days, you can see me personally, or once again, we may come back live on Facebook and we'll answer your questions, and you yourself will realize how stress and anxiety, because stress and anxiety will affect each individual differently, and we have to recognize that. Thank you, madam. Can you please tell me if there are any specific symptoms for anxiety? Yes, the specific symptoms, as the view I was replying to Madam Girja, was like dryness of mouth. Sometimes some people feel palpitations. Sometimes you must, when you are a child or a student, you must have seen that before going for your exams, you would go for your washroom 2 or 3 times. You would drink water. You would feel very jittery. You would feel butterflies in the stomach. You would have cramps in the legs. Sometimes you will feel perspiration. Sometimes your heart starts pounding. Sometimes you feel like crying. And sometimes some people faint also. These are the symptoms of anxiety, please. Good morning, Iyengar Sanjay. This is, thank you for taking the time. My question is, what is an ideal way to get my friends to share about anxiety problems comfortably? The best way to share their anxiety problems comfortably is to keep a daily journal. As I was mentioning earlier, keep a daily journal and then share with a person who is a confident friend of yours, who promise you confidentiality, who is not going to make a gossip about it or laugh at you, who is expert at listening skills. See, most of the anxiety patients in my practice I have seen is that if you spend half an hour to them and listen carefully to them, after half an hour, they suddenly say that what is causing them anxiety. They always sometimes feel that, yes, I was responsible for my mother's blindness, I was responsible for my father's death, I was responsible for what my family is going through. And these are the thoughts when they come. I feel very anxious, doctor. But when somebody has listened you to understand and listen you not to reply, and that is what is called, we have forgotten the lost art of listening, which is very essential to be brought down. And this 21 days of lockdown is an ideal way for each member of the family to understand the art of listening. Thank you, madam. Oh, yeah, Sapna Singh Parmar, good afternoon. It's after, we are nearing afternoon. Anyway, does anxiety cause depression? Yes. And anxiety would always lead to depression, and depression could not lead to anxiety, but anxiety definitely would lead to depression, because after a time, the mind fuses. The mind has its own defense mechanism, and once You're overloaded with anxiety, your hormones, your dopamine is exhausted, your adrenaline is exhausted, and you start feeling fatigue, what is called as fatigue of mind. And when there is a fatigue of mind, you don't get any thoughts. Your thoughts get blocks, you get forgetfulness, your attention and concentration spans lower down. It becomes very tiny, and that is the time anxiety would lead to depression. So once you start feeling anxiety, the best way is to start sharing it with somebody who is very near and dear to you, especially to your parents or to your spouse, or see a professional counselor and nip the bud in the beginning. Good morning, Pinku Shukla. Some patient is having anxiety and depression, developing symptoms of corona. Every he is not suffering from any symptoms of corona. All are calling for it to me. Yes, this is very. I've seen yesterday. I've seen at least three or four clients in an institution where I work, and they all are living together. They are employees of a company, and if somebody is coughing in the night, he is a smoker, somebody is feeling breathless, and because they are in close proximity and they are continuously watching news, continuously watching what are the symptoms and signs of how the symptoms and signs of coronavirus would appear. Somebody would have a little sneezing and they would think, oh, I'm getting corona. Somebody would just feel. See, something like faith healing we used to have. Some people are greatest believer of a gossip, or somebody says, "Oh, you feel you're sneezing. It seems that you get your temperature checked. Did you see what was happening to you? Do you are feeling headache? Simple breathlessness after climbing 6 floors." So, don't try to diagnose yourself on your own. If you feel that if you are having any of the symptoms which are constantly bombarded on the social media, on the TV channels, just go to your family doctor or the doctor whom you have faith and ask him to give you a time, or you can do telecall him and just describe him, and that's the end of it. Rather than asking your friends and relatives, each one will give you different thoughts. So authenticity, transparency, and the trust and the knowledge of the doctor and the experience of the doctor will decide whether you are susceptible to coronavirus, you are having early signs and symptoms of coronavirus, whether you should go for testing or not. That is only your trusted ally, and that is your family doctor, your family physician is the best person to get in touch with is in these times of crisis. Yes, good morning, Vrunda Upadhyay. At times, stress causes severe physical distress. How does one cope with it? Yes, as I have mentioned, at times stress causes severe physical distress. Yes, it does cause when all your dopamine, adrenaline, norepinephrine is exhausted. You're obviously going to observe physical distress. The best way is sit down in a quiet place and start rhythmic breathing or deep breathing. I'll demonstrate it for all of my viewers. It's just like this. Your tummy out. I would say another way. One, two, three, five, six. One, two, three, five, six. This is one way. The second way is go for guided meditation, which you would find on YouTube's, and where you can do progressive muscular relaxation, and within half an hour you will be charged more than you were before the anxiety set in. Thank you. Good morning, Kripa. Could you help me with a question about what you could be the specific visible symptoms for stress in adults. Like, see, this is very, very important. Like, see, when 4 or 5 or 6 people in this times are staying in a lockdown time, like, see, your adolescent children's getting jittery. Now, as say, when a man is under stress, or your husband or a father is under stress, he would go in his cave, he would stop talking. When he is under stress, he would just stop talking. He would be like to be left alone. And when you see somebody stopping suddenly to talk because he's preoccupied with some worry, chronic worry, or he's under some duress and doesn't want to talk about it, which is misinterpreted by the family members, especially by the spouse. That what this guy is making faces, that it is because of you, you didn't like the food, why you're not taking less food, why you're not talking, why just before others had done their dinner and lunch, just finished your lunch and you went and slept and you didn't talk. And when I came, you were not sleeping. You're just staring at the floor, at the roof. So the symptoms of stress are fighting without any reason, getting angry without reason, irritability, or stopping the communication. In the females, if you see, when they are under stress, they would have a lot of aches and aches and pains and psychosomatic symptoms, because that is a help for a cry for an help. Oh, my dear husband, my dear father, my dear brother, my dear son, listen to me. And when they develop this psychosomatic problems, this is the only time they are get the attention of the person whom they want. So these are the symptoms of physical symptoms of the stress. Thank you, ma'am. What routine will be helpful for a woman's mental health while she balances her home and work during quarantine? Oh, lovely question. This is very important. Thank you, Anila, for asking me this very good question. Now, see, a woman are empowered today, and they should be given enough psychological and physical space, and this would be the responsibility for the entire family. So a routine which would be very good for a Indian homemaker would be to get up half an early before the family gets up, finish a routine, 1 hour, do anything which she enjoys, having a cup of coffee, listening to the music which is her passion, or watching the sky which is her passion, or watering the plants, which is very good to. And in most of the Hindi movies, you used to see in old 50s and 60s and 70s and early 80s that she would say her morning prayer, and she would get her psychological space and physical space, and the home is quiet when she can pray, when she can do her arti, whatever she wants to do. Then, see, Indian women have been trained, and that mindset has been done, that you don't live for yourself but live for others. Now this is what is not, I don't appreciate that kind of mindset. You first love yourself. If you are happy with yourself, then only you can love your family, make your family happy. So take a glass of water with some lemon, so detoxify your mind and body both, and then get back to work. Once you are done, you should not assume responsibility for everybody's happiness. Once this routine is done, if you are a homemaker and in this lockdown period, if the no servants are coming, make it sure that every individual has to clean their dishes. Some younger children will have to prepare the dining table, clear the dining table. The husband may has to help you in washing the dishes and setting, and then you can again go back to your hobbies, and then this is the how, and you should go early to bed. Let us move to next. Ishan Kotak, what are the books one should read in this kind of period to stay away from negative thoughts? Now, see, there are two kinds of people. There are people who would enjoy fiction, and there are people who would enjoy spirituality. What I would suggest is read all the books which are not giving any negativity, and like self-help books will create a lot of confusion because you're not doing under the supervision of a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So it's best time you should read, if you are a Hindu, read Gita or read books of Swami Vivekananda, or the best autobiography that I ever known is Benjamin Franklin's autobiography or autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi. So read at least two or three autobiographies and of the Viktor Frankl. Now, this is very important thing that my viewers should listen to me carefully. He was in imprisonment of Nazi camp, and for about 19 to 20 years, everybody was killed, and he was seeing people killed. He was staying in a 4 by 4 bathroom sized room, and he survived, and then he survived and later on became one of the greatest psychiatrists of the his times. And he would visualize himself to be the best psychiatrist and what were his dreams were. And that is how he overcome this period of 19 years. So, such if you read Viktor Frankl, you will know how to overcome this lockdown for 21 days. This is nothing. This is nothing. 21 days staying in a home is 21 days going on a tour with the family. So think positive, stay positive, talk positive, and just get rid of negative news, negative WhatsApp, negative social media, and negative people around you. Thank you. No, you have to get rid of anxiety by, as I said, is progressive muscular relaxation, guided meditation, or rhythmic breathing, and you should not resort to medicine without consultation of a doctor because they are habit forming and a stage may come you may get addicted. And here I would like to add to all my viewers that these days I'm getting a lot of calls from patients who have been put on anxiolytics. I will not name them, but medicines which people have got habituated to, and they are running from pillar to post to get that medicines and those prescriptions without the, these are all at schedule prescriptions and people are not getting. If any of you have been a victim of such, you may consult us and we are all out to help you and gradually taper off your dose. If you don't take those medicines, you're not going to die, but you may, your anxiety may pop up a little, but you may start guided meditation, progressive muscular relaxation, or rhythmic breathing, or start yogas, and you will get rid of the anxiety and will guide you to get through it. Yes, this is exactly. Thank you, Amit Gurbani, for bringing this up. Your question is, Dr. Yogesh Patel, anxiety and stress often drives people into smartphone addictions. Is there anything that one can do about it? See, get rid of your anxiety by any other means, but not by smartphones and keeping on talking. It's good to take up a habit of writing what is disturbing you, writing and writing. And one worry you may have is that if somebody, what if somebody reads? No sooner you have completed writing them, you tear up the paper or burn it out. That's it. So, what is the mind? The anxiety is displaced by the hands because you must have observed very carefully when you are anxious, you are fidgeting, you're doing something with your hands. The best way when you are doing anxiety, write every silly nonsense thoughts. We cannot talk to anybody, but just keep on scribbling, keep on scribbling, keep on writing it. This is the best way you can get rid of the anxiety apart from the methods which I have earlier suggested. This is very important when Mr. Ashutosh Vyas is coming. He's asking, can anxiety decrease the immune system? This is exactly what is happening. This is what is called self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, see, your anxiety, if you during the lockdown period, if you're chronic worry syndrome or chronic anxiety syndrome, it reduces your immune system and then you become too susceptible to all kind of viral and bacterial diseases, especially patients with low immunity or patients whose bodies have been decompensated by illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, renal diseases, and multiple other diseases which I would not like to mention because again I'll go to Daniel Mehner saying, very good morning. Children are also experiencing this current situation. This will affect them if they will constantly think about it. So, what are your suggestions? Now, very important thing is where does the children get all this news and negativity from? It is the talk that has been going on in the family and with the family friends, either face to face or on the mobiles. You are constantly watching the news. Now, here I would, each and every family, I am warning you. If you love your children, get a 15 minutes update about what is happening about the coronavirus in the morning and 15 minutes update in the evening. Are you going to resolve this problem? Have you assigned by the Honorable Prime Minister of India or Honorable Health Minister to resolve this problem? Then why you want to keep on discussing this? And who are you to worry about your children? And who gives them these negative messages? And then you say our children are getting affected by this negative thing. Where does the negativity come from? You have enough food, you have enough shelter, their education is being taken care of. So why you should talk anything about what is pandemic and epidemic or what is epidemic or how it is going to affect your finances and all in presence of the children? You have got a bedroom. If at all you are worried, the father and mother, they have all the right to discuss about the future of the children. But why you want to discuss it in the presence of the children? So this is how your children are being getting affected. So hopefully, and please monitor what your children are doing on their screen time. So if you have given them laptops, if you have given them smartphones, what is called as supervised screen time, see what they are seeing on their mobiles or on their laptop. And if you find them they are searching about coronavirus or how coronavirus affects children, how affects the elderly, all these things have to be taken care by you, and it is the responsibility of the parents. So what I'm trying to tell you is knockdown time is the good time to induce a lot of positivity, make your children feel secure, hug them 5 times a day. Now, see, there is already 7 days have passed. I'm asking a very important question to all the parents. Have you hugged your children 10 times a day? Have you slept with your children by your side 1 hour in the afternoon? And how secure your children would be. Oh, my dad is there, my mom is there. Because of our busy schedules, we have missed this. I used to sleep with my parents, with my mother, with my grandmother, which my children didn't get an opportunity because I was working. My wife was working, so they missed it. This is what I call blessing in disguise. You get connected physically, connected emotionally, get bonded with your children, and make the best of the time. Does the symptoms of depression differ from person to person and how we can? Yes, it would differ from person and person because in one person, depression would cause vegetative symptoms like loss of appetite, loss of sleep, loss of libido, weight loss, and all. And in another person, a depressed patient, he would be overeating, he would be overindulging into food eating, he would be overindulging into sexual activity. So he would be different from this. So there are endogenous depression, which would have vegetative symptoms. There are reactive depressions. What at this time you would find is depressions with anxiety, which would involve getting involved into a lot of physical activities, overeating, less sleeping. Where a depressed patient would get up early in the morning, and reactive depressed patient would get difficulty in sleeping, would sleep late in the morning. If a person is suffering from depression, then in such condition, how He can discern which thoughts are positive and negative. Now, see, depression never impairs your cognitive functions. So, depression has nothing to do with the intelligence. It is a disorder of mood and disorder of emotions. So, if you feel that a depressed person is sitting by you and you are talking about him, everything that you talk, and this is a very important message to the society, and this is very important message for the people who have social stigma for mental health, like they are not insane. It is not insanity. Depressed patients, they may not talk, they may sit by you for 2 hours, but whatever you are talking about them, they are listening, and their intellectual functions are not impaired, and so they can decide. If you establish, if you have patience, if you have compassion, if you are kind, if you just put a little pat on your back, and your body language, the way you talk, if you can make them feel confident, and if you can convey a genuine trust in them, probably they may start opening up slowly but gradually. But that requires a lot of patience on the part of a therapist. And I would suggest that it's not a good idea to jump in that patient is depressed or not without doing a psychometric assessment. Like we have a Beck's depression inventory, we have a Rorschach test, we have thematic apperception test. So there is a lot of battery of psychometric assessment tests that we do at Tricol hospitals. And after documenting that he or she has a depression, then only we can say, and under this, all these cognitive functions, all his behavioral symptoms are assessed and marked from our scales, and then it is documented, and then only patients are put on antidepressants. And I hope this justifies. Yes, thanks for putting up this lovely question. And I think this was the best question for the day. We'll be happy to answer more. You can ask them on our social media. Thank you. Be safe, be happy at your home, and make the best of the opportunities that has been come in our way in disguise form. Thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you once again. Namaskar. Jai Hind.